Today, we had someone say, so what is it that you do? Is it some kind of therapy? We want to explain a little bit more, because we just realized by that being's comment that we are channeling a completely different system of operation. It's past what most beings think is possible to do with a human body right now. They don't have any, you know how when you have a conversation, you have to sort of have concepts to hang something on, so that you know sort of in your brain, like the categories where things fit, And what most people do is that they have their hangers, and then if you don't fit on the hangers, you're trying to well, does it fit there? What about on this category? What about on that category? They're trying to make us fit when we are a different thing altogether, actually. That's the interesting thing. That's what we're seeing, because we are assisting people to completely not erase, but completely reprogram the subconscious mind, the shadow. That's really what we're doing, so that everything that's unconscious becomes conscious, and you can get a different, you can do something different, because most people are just operating out of the automatic, and that's really what we want to stop. Because the human condition, you know what that is? The human disease, sort of. It's the habitual. Just going with whatever. That's the habitual. Yeah, okay, whatever. Just going along with things, or all of that. And then you have, what is the opposite of that? Awareness. What's going on here? Why are you saying it like that? What are you here? Where are you? People are in fantasy lands creating. This is literally what's happening. People have their own fantasies in their heads, thinking that reality is in a certain way. And so you can say that this is therapy. It will definitely help, so that you don't need therapy, because you're doing your own therapy. It's sort of like a self-therapy in a way. But it's very much with the help of higher intelligence from our side, to see the truth, to see the shadow. That's what we are getting help with, so that we get to see more and more and more of everything that's hidden. Because we've seen our own shadow. We are working with it. We have integrated it, but it's something it's a muscle that you have to continue to do. It's your boundaries. If you let people just do whatever, that becomes the shadow that sort of spikes and creates arguments, and just to get, because something is not right, that you're not speaking, and that energy is gonna spike somewhere. That's just natural when you're not speaking it. So we are this is a retraining in how it is to be human. And why would you go through something like that when you're fine with your life and with what you're doing? It's because once you operate your system accordance with energetic truth, it really is the training of how to be a human being, how to operate these systems correctly. We have to sort of go back to basics for that. And that's what we're inviting to start with the basics again. Things that people are assuming, don't assume. That's not a good idea. Because most likely you will be wrong. Most likely you will interpret your own stories or whatever. So don't assume with other people. Deal with your own life. Don't think it's about the neighbor or the this or the that or, you know, everything out there. You know, it is about the inside. Every single one of you have been trained in a certain way. And it is impossible not to in this environment. However, there is this feeling that's still intact. It's still there. It can never be destroyed. And it is that spark within you. In some traditions they call it the fire, some call it the, you know, like you can call it many different things. And it's that spark of aliveness. We are a fire starter, an energy booster, a kick in the butt to get you moving in the right direction spiritually with your soul here, because that's the whole purpose of you being here. We are aligning your soul with your body because we know who your soul is. We know why you came here. Not each individual path. And not we get to see. This is what usually happens when people meet us. If they're open, then we receive for them from God what they can step into, which is their next level. And the more we hear, the more we can see pathways there. We are getting presented by the team all of this. This is just the way that our system functions. We function like this regardless if people think or project onto us or whatever. So we see a lot. And we have had to go through a lot with this body in order to come to terms with our own value. Because we misinterpret, because if people don't get what we're saying, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with us. If people don't have any concept to hang it on, you see? And so we incorrectly thought that we were not good enough because people didn't receive us. And so we started adjusting to the outside world, which led to a complete shit show of many different relationships that we have been through, which just went worse and worse and worse and worse. So we've had a lot of trouble when it comes to relationships. That's why the last one corrected so much. It was so, like, on a spiritual level, it was such a gift, because we needed to sort of get whacked in the face to get straight what we were doing. You know? And once we saw, we started taking action. And we started taking action, and we got shown more and more and more and more. And this is the journey that we're on now. We are now just seeing more and more of what is just that more, which is the natural energy of a flower that blossoms. Just the same way a human being blossoms. But the way that human beings blossom is different than a flower. Human beings blossom in joy, in excitement for life again, in trusting the safety of the body, trusting in the natural flow of all of these changes so that we move forward in our life. But it does take some recoding of what we think is going on here. Many beings are still working too sort of almost locked into their own cage inside of their mind. That's really not the way anymore. It is about using the mind. It's a faculty, but it needs clarification, you know? It's not this enemy, the ego, you know? It's not this thing. We just have to comprehend how this all works and fit together so that we can create a healthy system, a healthy energy system inside of each nucleus, which is who you are. You are your own nucleus. You are creating your own reality through your nucleus. And you get to choose how you maneuver everything. And based on how well you look after your energy, so that you don't do things that you don't want to do to please other people or to whatever it is, whatever your thing is that you have as a little crutch, that you keep doing this thing for people and you know it's not good to do, all of that stuff. We're here to have correct perspective so that we can operate the bodies better. And once we do that, boy, our life just gets better and better. That's what happens. Because once you are focused in the right way and you do the correct things according to all of these tests that Gaia is showing you, this is a whole game. It is a game that needs to be played. And unless you know the game's rules, you will be played. We're here to teach you the rules on how to maneuver your human energy in a way that you produce more energy through your body. Why would you want to produce more energy through your body? Because when you produce more energy through your body, your health will improve. You will be able to function without much food. Because once you clarify the mind about how things work and how you get energy and actually know how you get energy, you can get energy through your own supply, through your internal workings. This is why meditation is so good, because it's utilizing this natural way of how the energy system operates. And that is, if you're focused all the way out there in problem land or stuff, you have to start to focus more on you and your life and what are you doing every single day to move your life forward. That's the only thing that's going to get you anywhere. It doesn't matter if you want to make a cupcake or if you want to be an enlightened being. These are the workings of how you work with your energy and creation and building and maintaining a healthy energy flow through your system. Because once you see this reality correctly, more and more and more, when you get momentum on your side, wow, boy, life becomes really fun. Because once you have bumped up against these things and you've felt them through and you've felt and you've corrected and you have sealed that memory, not because you're done with it, but because it's been replaced with truth. If you just keep pretending with these things, this inner child stuff, the trauma workings, you're not going to get done with it. And this has to do with everything in your life. You don't have to think that you have trauma to know that you have some issues with your focus sometimes, you know, like sometimes too much of this or too much of that. This is all a game, you know? And it's the game of Gaia and the soul and the human. And how well are you playing with one another? You can sort of say like the knower is the soul in a way, not really, but in a way you could sort of say that is more, we call it the knower because it is the filtering process of your consciousness. That is the knower. If it's way twisted compared to your body, we call it distorted. The same with the body and the feelings. Sometimes you can be aware of your thoughts. That means that you have an aware knower. And you can also not be aware of your thoughts at all, and you're just being like the feeler person, right? Just being very much feeling this, feeling that, maybe not even knowing why you're feeling certain things or getting visions and stuff, but trying to piece them together. This is intuition, but it also needs to go hand in hand with the other aspects. So we're here to enhance all of our abilities, also our intuitive abilities, and make sense of them. Because only when the knower and the feeler are in balance and you are doing the action every single day to stay in balance, only then will you start to move the needle in your evolution with your body. Because then you have reversed it sort of seems like that, because if you have the North Pole, let's say, flinging outward, it's like having two loose wires. If one wire goes out and focuses on the outside world, if this is like the knower, and you kind of use the analogy of two wires, if one is just thinking, doing, and the body is here like, hey, what about me? Well, yeah, but think, do. You have to connect that to yourself in order to fuel your body. And for you, if you want to make things happen in this world, you have to have connection with your body. You have to. Otherwise, there is no stream going in. It's like the Gaia doesn't know what the heck you're doing because you're just in your mind. You have to anchor. That's why you have to anchor that energy if you want to actually make something here. You're not here to be there and float around in La La Land. We're not here for that. And concepts and spiritual and this and that and concept. All of these things, they're just overly thinking. That's all what they are. We have to simplify this. And knowing that, okay, what's the remedy? Getting plugged in. Like these are fundamentals that has to be at play. That has to be truly recognized. And exactly what behavior changes them. That's the thing though. Just because you're aware of them doesn't mean that it's done. Doesn't mean the work is done. That's when the work starts. Because you have to anchor it through your actions. And once you see, let's say these habitual, when this happens, I usually just do this. When you see the correct perspective of whatever is causing that and zooming in and actually pulling it apart and straightening it out, this is what we're assisting with. Once you do that, that's all of these channelings. Once you do that, next time, it's different. Maybe it comes up again, but it's different. It's always different. And eventually, it's a completely different story. But that's why we do it every single day. That's why we don't take a break from this. Because it is literally your ascension. It's like spinning plates. It's like starting to gain momentum of your life here and starting to start your engines and see how much you can sort of, what are we trying to say here? Like, they're showing like how much can we actually achieve with these bodies. That's why we're here. You know, if you have a challenge, that's for you to overcome. Mind over matter. So if you wish to start being serious about this, we are soon starting day 1 again. It isn't just in a couple of days. Make sure that you sign up, you prepare yourself, get familiarized with where everything is at in the portal, sign up to the Ascension program, start and get ready. Because I believe it's on Saturday, day 1, we're starting again. This time around, the 28th day that has been quite magical. Because we have gone through all of what was needed for us to open our heart to something that we want again. And that was a whole thing. It was just a whole orchestration by Gaia and certain people, and got us to clarify our field enough to see that our body is so impeccable now. Our body is so impeccable because it's like it's responding automatically what's needed in the moment. Sometimes we have things to learn too. Of course, that's part of our journey as well. But we are walking our path now. It is this, when you start to see this Gaia path, in the beginning, it might be a bit foggy. That's normal. But eventually, when you get into it and you start to see more of, make sort of like logical connections with your feelings, that's really when you start to piece things together. That's when it gets really fun. So I hope you're ready to start another round if you have done one already, or a new one if you haven't dared already. If you've fallen off, this is the time to get back on. All right. Take care. Let us know if you're ready, and let us know what do you want to shift these 28 days. Commit yourself to shift. What do you want to shift? Make a list. What is your 28-day goal going to be? You know? All right. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Ciao.